I just want to get on here and talk about that have been on my mind and on my heart this week, really. And the first thing is that God has a plan for your life. God has a plan for each and every one of our lives. And we don't necessarily know what that plan is. A lot of times we try to plan out our lives and we're always trying to figuring out what is our next move going to be. This is what my future is going to be like, this, that, and the other. However, we have to trust in God and we have to trust in His plan for our life, because His plan directly aligns with the purpose that He has for our life. And once we discover what our purpose is, it's easier to discern between, okay, so this is of God and this is not of God. This is a part of God's plan for my life and this isn't. However, if you don't know your purpose and you're out here trying to figure it all out on yourself, you're just going to end up lost. So we have to trust God's plan for our life, because what we want and what God's plan is for our life isn't necessarily the same. Most of the time, it's not. So it's very important to seek God and to seek whatever higher power it is that you serve when you are making steps through life. You have to be connected spiritually in order to make the right moves that align with your purpose here on earth. Because it doesn't end here, and we were put here for a reason. So we're just trying to figure it out on our own. We're going to make the wrong moves because we don't make good decisions by ourselves. We do not make good decisions when we are submitting to our flesh opposed to our spirit. You have to be in tune, because when we make decisions on our own, we make bad decisions when we don't consult a higher power or consult our spirit. So you have to tend to your spirit first in order to make the right moves in life. And we have to trust in God's plan for our life and not always try to figure it out on our own, because we don't have to figure it out on our own. As a matter of fact, we shouldn't, because that's how we end up lost and confused. So that's one thing that's really been on my mind this week, is you have to trust God's plan for your life, because it might not be the same as your plan, or He might have a different route. You might know your purpose and be like, okay, this is how I'm gonna get there. But God has a different plan. He said, so I'm going to take you this way, and then I'm going to take you that way. No, you put in work. You work hard, and you do what you're supposed to do, and you seek that higher power, and you pray, and God will prepare you for your next move, whether you know what that next move is or not. He is preparing you for it, whether you know it or not. So we can't always be focused on, okay, this is what I'm going to do next. Yes, it's good to have goals, especially if you know what you were put on this earth for. But we have to allow God to guide us and allow Him to take us in the direction that He wants us to go. Because we can't figure it out all on our own. There's going to be detours. Things are going to jump in the middle of the road. And you have to be able to adjust accordingly, according to God's plan, and just trust Him. Because otherwise we end up confused. We end up stressed out. We end up trying to figure out our own problems. And we don't have to figure out our own problems. We serve a God who knew it all before it ever happened. He knew what you were going to go through. He knows the plan. You don't. We don't know. But that is okay. We seek Him and He will guide us. He will guide us. And so long as we trust Him and we don't try to figure things out on our own, it really relieves a lot of stress from us. Although it's not easy, it's not always easy to just trust God, because we're trying to figure things out on our own. But ultimately, that's what we have to do. The second thing that I want to talk about that's kind of been on my mind this week is you can't force things. You cannot force things in life. And that kind of goes back to trusting God's plan. But a lot of times we try to make things happen. We keep trying to make things happen. We keep trying to pursue this job, or we keep going back to this relationship, or we keep trying to make friendships work and situations work. We keep trying and we keep trying and we keep getting the same results, or a problem keeps coming up and we wonder, why is this not working? It's because we're trying to force things. You cannot force anything in life. If it has to be forced, then it's not meant to be. It's like trying to fit. Y'all remember we used to play with them little toys when we was kids. It's like trying to fit the triangle toy inside of the square toy. You can't force anything in life. You have to allow things to play out. You have to allow things to play out, because when you're trying to force relationships, friendships, jobs, all of that, it's stressful. It's stressful, and that just goes back to trusting God's plan. Trusting God's plan. And to tie those two together, pay attention. You have to pay attention to signs in life, and you have to pay attention to God's calling on your life. If something is not working out, and you keep getting the same results, and you keep trying, and it's like, why is this not working out? Maybe it's not in God's plan for you right now. Or maybe you just need to trust that everything is going to work out, because we can't force things. Things cannot be forced. You can't just make things happen. So that's just kind of what I want to talk about. I'm kind of all over the place because this is just on my mind and on my heart right now. But just to kind of sum it up, like, number one, trust God. Trust his plan for your life. He is the creator. He put you here for a reason. And he has a plan for your life, whether you know it or not. You have to trust him and allow him to guide your every move, your steps. And number two, tying into, hold on a second. Oh, I don't know what happens when somebody calls you. Don't force things in life. Let things play out and trust in God. Trust in the higher power, because that he will lay out your steps for you. You just work hard, pray, and trust that everything is going to work out, because everything that's for you in life is going to be for you so long as you walk in purpose. So yeah, that's all I want to talk about. I'll try to be a little bit more structured next time. I don't really rock with this Facebook Live thing, but thanks, y'all. See you later, or I don't know how this works.